So it's nice
Hey,
to talk to you.
Suzanne, hi. So where are you located right now, may I ask?
Right now, I'm on Long Island.
Long Island. I've
Yeah,
done
I
Long
spent the last
Island.
8 years in Arkansas, but we moved
Oh,
here.
wow.
It's quite a
Fantastic.
difference. Yes.
That's great.
Yeah, so I'm a longtime fan of yours from CSI and
Oh, yeah,
all
yeah.
the other things
Yeah.
I've seen you in. But
Well, thanks, Susan.
I started watching or rewatching Law and Order recently from the first season, and there you were in the sixth episode. I was like, oh,
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I was in the pilot of Law and
yeah.
Order when they made it, and then they took 2 years off trying to sell it. I don't know, maybe it's something I said. I played a guy who dies in a kind of a I landed in a plate of spaghetti, I think. Anyway, yeah, I know. Law and
That's
Order.
fun.
Dick Wolf
So,
is, Dick Wolf I like a lot. He's a good guy. He's
oh,
a
good.
very, almost genius at producing.
Seems like it. He's successful.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So tell us how this movie came about for you.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it came about because, well, I knew about the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. We're talking about the movie Any Day Now, directed by Eric Aronson and written by Eric. And it's really I knew about it takes place in March 17th, 1990, is where there was an art heist of lots and lots of stolen art that's never been recovered. So it's in Boston, it's kind of has its own life has its own lifespan. It's very in everyone's mind. So I read the script. It would seem to be really about character development,
Mhm.
about the main thief played by me, Marty Lyons, and also a young man, Steve, who's played by Taylor Gray, and more or less like this relationship that develops in the movie as Marty is, in a way, not in a way, but really manipulating Steve, who is the guard at the museum, but he's also giving back to Steve a kind of a new burst of life, a
Mhm.
kind of a new identity. And the identity will, of course, be a thief, but it will be at least a solid place for him to realize himself. I mean, I think Marty feels that way. And Steve seems to be like leftover trash, like yesterday's newspaper. He's like a broken donut, I said once. I mean, he's just completely laying there stale and bitten into. And so Marty sees that and, takes advantage of it. And
Right.
Marty's a career criminal, a kind of a career criminal I learned about him. He really is an expert on samurai blades. And you call them blades, not swords. He knows a lot about it. And he isn't appreciate. He loves art, but he likes to steal it
Right.
rather than just look at it. So I got interested in that a lot.
Okay.
Just
Yeah,
that whole idea.
Marty is such a big character. It sounds like you really enjoyed playing him, and it's
Thank you.
on the
Yeah, no,
screen
I
too.
did. I did. I enjoyed it, the largesse of it for sure, the boldness of it. What I really kind of liked was the existential way that the guy made decisions in the moment. I mean, there was no past. As I think about it, there was no present, there's no past. He's really trying to avoid the past. He doesn't really talk about it too much. The future is unknown, and he's totally in the moment. And that's really I think Eric's writing had that in it. I tried to provide it in the character and made every moment kind of as full and as realized as I could.
Okay. Yeah, and you can't really tell, even though the heist took place a long time ago. When you're watching the movie, it doesn't really matter when it took place. They don't hit you over the head with any particular time frame. It seemed to me anyway.
Yeah, well, to really hit you over the head with the time frame of 1990 is very expensive in an
Yeah.
independent feature. We can't like have like 27 cars from 1990 around. We managed to I think to find some streets that were kind of empty. I mean, so we did that was all done very deftly by the
Mhm.
production team.
Definitely. Or maybe it's just me. To me, 1990 doesn't seem that long ago.
Yeah, and well,
Yeah.
also maybe it's just that you got into the real center of the story, which is the people.
Yes, definitely. It's hard not to with this movie. So was everything filmed right from the script, or were you able to change things or ad lib?
Well, that's a story that always is on some directors and writers,
Mhm.
not always writers. And Eric was both. Some directors, I did a movie with Adam McKay, who was loved improvisation, would suggest ways to improvise because that's where he comes from. The movie I'm referring to is Don't Look Up,
Mhm.
and he would love to get let's just talk and scenes that never made the final cut. And he would, but Eric had both. Eric was disciplined enough to maintain the story so it would have a kind of a structure and a kind of mystique and kept things a little cryptic so that they weren't always easy to solve through an improvisation where I was driving some ideas into words that weren't necessary, that were only flourishes, and those got cut out. But we were allowed to do it, which gave you a sense of freedom of the moment. And a few of the things got stuck into the movie. A couple of the things that we did, some behavioral things more than even words. And so it had both. It had kept the structure and it allowed for freedom.
Okay.
What improvisations meant to be freedom.
Right, right. And you're from Boston, and the movie's set in Boston. Is that one of the reasons that you wanted to do it?
Well, that's in. I mean, I knew the Isabel Stewart Gardner. Of course, I'm from Boston, but I left it as a teenager, and went to school and live in New York City.
Right.
And but I like Boston. I associate with it. So yeah, that is definitely one of them. And I knew the museum was a place I used to go to when I was in high school. I'd go there because it was quiet and tranquil and peaceful, and I'd try to translate my Latin text from Virgil's Aeneid, which would I was and so I needed some privacy because it wasn't easy. And so it was just fantastically beautiful and a gift to the city by Isabella Stewart Gardner. I mean, I'm kind of sorry that these thieves ripped it off because
Yeah.
they really did create. I mean, it was after my time in Boston, of course, but gee whiz, it was such a fantastic, beautiful idea by
Mhm.
someone in 1906 or whenever to
Mhm.
set up this place, this Italian villa, and make it free to anyone who wanted to come in and put, great works of art from Rembrandt to Vermeer to everyone, to Edouard Manet, all of which got stolen and still haven't been recovered.
Yeah, I was on their website, and it said, I think it was their website, said that they're offering $10 million for any news of the people who stole it. And I don't know if that'll ever come out, but it would be interesting to see.
Interesting because I think one of the pieces, the lesser piece, is probably worth 40 million. I mean, if they're really invaluable art. I
Yeah.
mean, the Rembrandt Sea Storm on the Sea of Galilee is
Mm.
the only seascape he ever painted, and it's like, priceless,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's I don't know. Yeah, it just shows you I don't know. No one knows where they are. That part of the movie we're not trying to solve. We're not trying to tell you the who's
Yeah.
done it.
Yeah.
We're really trying to tell you the craziness of the attempt, the boldness, the
Yeah.
the odd, yeah, and there are some possibilities. We do present a possibility of where they're.
Right. And do you have any amusing stories from making the film that you can t share with us?
Like I was saying, I'm this, yeah. I mean, I wish they were amusing, but when we're doing these kind of films in the kind of wintry parts, it seemed wintry. It was in the fall, late fall, a couple of years ago. Independent filmmaking is so tense with time constraints
Mhm.
that basically we wanted to get there. We tried, and I think what we uncovered a kind of unique group effort came together, which was nice because a lot of people, some people, it's their first time ever working on a movie. I mean, crew. And then there was some very seasoned people like the DP and everyone. I mean, there was producers even and stuff. So we all managed to have a sense of purpose that gave us a kind of a fun, buoyed, like floating kind of feeling of ensemble, which was that was really so we had a lot of fun.
Mhm.
We would do things together a lot because we kind of joked around a bit and had some great times, but there was nothing over. We were really determined to get the work done first.
Right. Right. Okay. And you play police officers and detectives a lot, like Jim Brass and CSI.
I
Which is more
have.
fun for you to play, a cop or a robber?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, here's the thing. When I played the cop, I had the soul of a robber. When I played a robber, I might have the soul of a cop. I didn't ever thought of the people any role, and there's been a lot of them. I always would look at it from the point of view of the person and maybe their duality, and never at least their duality, their complications, because I never really thought that none of us are our jobs.
Right.
And so whether he's a detective, with problems or a robber with like the boldness of a rock and roll singer, I mean, I'm looking for the secret sauce inside the inside.
Gotcha. So with Marty, he is what's great about, like you were just saying, he's not all of a bad guy. He's a very fascinating character and likable when he's not doing something really terrible and
Yeah.
manipulating people.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. And in manipulation, he thinks is for a good reason. He thinks this person, Steve, needs to be helped out. He's floundering. He's like bait on a fish. He's not even the fish on a He's just the bait. I mean, it's just like, I mean, I think he wants to help him out. I mean, I like his story where he said to Steve, I was talking about this earlier. He just said, you should get the sandwiches that you want. They're eating a sandwich together. You know, what's wrong with you? I mean, be bold enough to say, I don't want onions on my roast beef. I mean,
Right.
can't you at least do that? I mean, he's trying to help him out. He's always in the present, is what
Mm.
I like to find and like to and think about in retrospect. He's never thinking about the past, and the future is always uncertain. So I like that part of his existential acts.
Right. And the actor, tell us about working with the actor who played him because he did such a great, for somebody who's supposed to be a nothing, it's in his face, but he can't
Oh my
really.
God, he's so innocent, isn't he? I mean, he looks great. When he looks at stuff, he looks like he's singing it for the first time. Well, that's a testimony to Taylor Gray's talent. I mean, that was fantastic, and he's a very curious guy. As all the guys were. Matter of fact, when we were around, they always wanted to hear stories about like what was it like when you worked there. You know, they like to,
Oh, that's
they
nice.
want to have the history recounted of like working under certain circumstances with certain actors as the kind of tribalism that we all have as actors who do the same job. They want to know that the road at least has really good rest areas on the way in their journey, you know.
That's a good way to put it. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today. I really
You're welcome,
appreciate it.
Suzanne. I
And I
appreciate
enjoyed the movie, and I hope everybody goes to see it and loves it.
Me too. I hope they enjoy any day now. Thank you for your help. I
Thank you.
appreciate it,
Bye.
Suzanne. Cheers.
That's my job. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.